Okay, back to working on this thing here. Hopefully, when I peel this protective film off, this acrylic is sold with will have absorbed all the scratches and bangs that I have put on this thing. How many screws do you think I should put? We'll put 2 on the end, and since this is 8 inches, if I put screws 3 inches apart and about 2.5 inches from the edge. So I wouldn't want to do something really dumb and put a bolt right in the corner, because that might crack this piece. So we'll do 1 here. We'll do the same on the other side. 3 7/8 is the center point. 1.5 inches on either edge of that. That's where we're going to drill and countersink our hole to put some mounting screws and screw this thing to the dash. Now, we're going to need a tape measure, which is right here, because half of 36 is 18 inches. And so I want to measure the center point right at 18 inches. That's the center point. Bottom. That's the center point on the top. Pretty close to that middle gauge right there. 1 bolt right in the middle, and then every 3 inches outside of that. Okay, now that I have all my holes marked out, guess it's time to drill it. If you are drilling a hole, or cutting, or whatever, to acrylic, it is important to know acrylic is very brittle. And that means if you put too much pressure, as you take material away from the hole that you're drilling, the area becomes much weaker, and if you're putting pressure, it'll crack this piece. That crack will go to the closest weak spot, so this one of these holes or something. So even the weight of this drill might be a little too heavy, and you want to hold it off a little bit while you're drilling it. That's a problem. I knew that was going to happen. I'm going to use this 1-inch foam tape stuff to separate the dash panel from the actual dash itself, and that's going to reduce vibration. It's also going to keep 2 pieces away from each other. So I'm just going to put a couple of pieces on, because we're going to have to go back and drill holes in this dash. That's about how that's going to sit on there. You may have to angle these 2 or these 3 so that I can see it. I'll be sitting right here. I'll look over. I'm going to be able to see all the gauges from the driver's seat. Good enough time. What I'm doing here is putting this foam on here, how it's supposed to go, and then I'll put the dash panel on top of it and mark out some holes, and I can punch some holes in this. Make it really easy for me to go stick them on and get the dash on and off later. To put the screws on the end, we should take a marker and mark all these holes. Now, this is a little primitive, but I have a piece of 1/2 inch that I sharpened on the end, and I'm just using that to cut through this foam, so that when I peel the paper off, the backside of this foam, either this, there we go, see? That'll work. I have a hole where each of my bolts gonna go. Here, up. That one lined up. I would say that looks like a professional job. Starting to look like something here. So I've got this piece that I need to cut out for my steering wheel, and I'm going to be using a Dremel to do that. Man, that doesn't turn out too bad. It's actually looking pretty good. Give me some luck, brother. Oops. Alright, so ordered these little nuts or these bolts on Amazon, and there ended up being just enough for my decoration with 2 left to spare. So that's good. Technically, this really isn't cutting anything, it's melting away, but melting precisely. Technically it's cutting. I don't know. Got a rectangle, no turning back now. See if the switch box will fit in there. Probably have to clear this out. Nope, nope, she fits. Look at that. Oh. Yeah, buddy. Okay, I just need to clean off that momentary horn switch, by the way. Okay, there it is. There's the progress so far. So, because this acrylic is a little thicker than what your plastic on your dash would be, these standoffs that you provide to mount them don't really stick out far enough to put a nut on and hold these gauges in. So what I'm doing is sanding them down a little bit on my sander, and so that they'll be shorter. I can also do is round off the corners just a little bit, and that way when I tighten these down they don't crack or break my acrylic sheet. Okay, now that I've have them all secured nice and tight, I can put this harness that I put together back on and make it look all pretty. So let's montage that real quick. So here's the dash all mocked up, and I have a little bit of show and tell for you, but before I do that, I kind of want to turn this light off so you can get a better view of all the LED work that I'm doing. So, of course, we've got our gauges, and you may have seen that before, but then also all the wiring is lit up in the back. So, you know, I can also make that strobe if I really wanted to. I think that would be a little distracting. But yeah, everything's looking cool. And that's basically how I'm gonna do my dashboard. I'm gonna make a follow-up video when I'm all done so that you guys can see the finished project. But for now, I've got a lot of work to do on some other things, which involves all this wiring down here. So tune in next week to see more cool stuff. Who welded this?